This is a thrilling story of a rural kid who amassed an estimated fortune of $188 billion. If you are into self-improvement, self-development, and growing as an individual, I guarantee you this video will be worth your time. It was July 30, 1863, the intriguing year when it all begins. Here's a child born on a farm in Springwells Township, Michigan, the eldest of a low-class family of 6 children. There was no clear path, hope, no bright future for the people of that town, nor the kid. The family was a low-income, low-class family that came from Ireland and Belgium in the 1850s and settled on a humble farm. Very early, this young man showed interest and passion about mechanics. Little did he know that it will lead him to become one of the biggest industrialists the world has ever seen. But let me explain more about that in the next few minutes. By the time he was 12, he was working most of his spare time in a small machine shop he has equipped on his parents' farm. He was feeding his obsession, working on his passion, focusing, discovering, experimenting, imagining, and most importantly, learning. Just 4 years later, he took a massive risk and started a new adventure. He left home to pursue an apprenticeship in mechanics in Detroit. That was his real devotion. During this period, at first sight, insignificant event occurred. He read about the gas engine from a British magazine. This single and sudden event will later on entirely transform its career and revolutionize the industry he got into by absolutely out-improving and wrecking its competitors. Very interestingly, he only finished 8th grade at a one-room school. He never attended high school. Nonetheless, his pure drive and already developed skills for mechanical work at early stages quickly gained him a reputation with everyone around him. Now, here's when things really get interesting. He returned to his home and worked at the family's farm at 19 years old, but continued to specialize in steam engines and mechanical work. At the end of the day, the farm's work was more of an imposed expectation from his father. The bold pursuit of conquering bigger things was highest priority than other people's expectations. As you probably can relate, there are certain experiences throughout your life that can entirely shape your future. In the case of our captivating character, they were: first, when his father gave him a pocket watch when he was only 12, and second, when he saw the first steam engine while on a school trip. Retrospectively, these two remarkable moments sparked this kid's imagination and printed a burning desire on his soul. For years, he worked across different companies such as Edison Illuminating Company and multiple other factories. It was getting boring and monotonous, but the unforeseen moment when everything changed was just around the corner. It was 1899. This yet-to-be businessman was already 36 years old when he decided to start his first funded venture, the Detroit Automobile Company. You may already suspect who we are talking about, aren't you? Management and planning challenges were way more complex than what they appear to be. As the founder, he was a perfectionist. Launching the car out to the market wasn't even a consideration until he had it perfect. It took 6 whole months just to build the first car. Coordinating efforts, supply chain management, and investors' pressure were the biggest constraints. The company went into bankruptcy just 18 months later. As the founder later on recalled, that period was driven by profits rather than innovation. And actually, here's a key lesson that we can extract for our own ventures. This character even mentions it in his autobiography later on. Concentrating efforts and focus on building a top quality product or providing a first-class service is essential to success. The quality of the product will be its biggest marketing. Media coverage and word of mouth will be just a natural result of providing outstanding value. I do want to say that there's a caveat on this, but perhaps we could talk about that or expand on that on a future video. After his first failure, he went on to start his second company, this time with a shifted focus. His vision was to turn the car from a status symbol that only a privileged few could have for the average man's commodity. Pitifully, his second company, which later on will be rebranded as Cadillac, was plagued with disputes between this businessman and his investors, so he left. 1.5 years later, around 1904, it was the turn for a third try. And here, precisely, is when everything changed. His first car launch, the Model A, the predecessor of the emblematic Model T by Henry Ford. His painful but fruitful journey bring him experience and skills. He now knew that improving and fixing his supply chain should be his highest priority in order to reduce costs and increase effectiveness. As a first action toward the solution of this challenge, he tried to get as many manufactured parts from just one company as possible. His second action, once he was already financially consolidated, was to build his own factory where he could just frenetically experiment and test with the process in the assembly line. And actually, here's another crucial lesson that we could extract. Pivoting and experimenting with multiple potential solutions to your challenges will always be the best way to improve and grow fast. Business should be seen as a scientific process. Every action within your company should be examined as if it was a laboratory. Act as if you were being asphyxiated looking for air. Kill your doubts and questions with immediate action. Test your theories, observe the outcome, refine the process, and repeat. His theories and refinements were so successful that the production of a car went from 12 working hours with the old system to just 93 minutes 1 year later. His cherished vision had turned to fruition. His mass production system made it possible to bring affordable and reliable cars to the general population and also spark a new modern industrial revolution. Even when the production went up, the demand remained high. And by 1918, half of all cars in America were Model Ts. Just 9 years later, around 1927, the company has already produced 50 million Model Ts, and Ford Motor Company was the largest automotive manufacturer in the world. The rest is history. Now, like this video and go watch the story of the wealthiest human who has ever walked on earth, the forgotten Sultan of the 14th century.
We become what we think about.